Hi everyone, hope you all are doing good. Today we will cover our next topic of Java programming, that is switch statement. In our previous videos, we have covered if-else statement, nested if statement, and if-else if multiple statements. So today we will cover switch statement. So why we use this switch statement is like when we have multiple conditions, it's difficult to mention all these conditions in if else. Let's say we have five conditions or more than six conditions. Out of those six conditions, we want to implement a particular condition which is true. So in that case, if else is not a good practice because it will create unnecessarily complexity in your program. So, and obviously we can reduce the code by using switch statement too, because the function of switch statement is similar to if else statement. The only difference is in case of switch statement we have multiple conditions. Out of those multiple conditions, one of the condition is getting true. Likewise, we have in if else statement. But in, let's say you have an example, we'll take an example of days. So we want to pick a day which is today. So let's say we have seven conditions for day: Sunday, Monday, up to Saturday. So in this case, if we use if-else statement, it will be a very complex program. So in order to avoid that complexity and avoid that multiple conditions, we use switch statement. Basically, if you have one or two conditions, then it's fine to use if statement or if-else statement. But if you have more than three statements or more than four statements, then it is preferable to use switch statement. So how switch statement will work? With this flow diagram, we will see. First of all, in switch statement, we will mention about the expression. So once we mention about the expression, then we will mention about case. Which case? Like in this scenario, let's say we have one numeric number one and two, and in this case, let's say we have 10. So in expression, we have mentioned the value which we want to match. In expression, let's say we have mentioned 1. So in this case, control will go to case 1, execute the logic which you have written down, any calculation or any output which you want to print, and then it will, with the help of break keyword, it will break from that particular control and directly came out of the program. It will not bother about the next conditions. So that's the main benefit of using switch statement, because with the help of break statement, it will reduce the time of execution. The control will not go and check these conditions next statement because it is getting true in first statement. Similar case in expression, let's say we have mentioned 2. So if 2 is there, numeric value 2 is there, in that case, first of all it will see case 1, it see the value is 1, so this condition is not true in this case. So the control will go to the next statement, and here it will see, okay, this is matching the expression. Then again the same thing, whatever the logic you have written down inside this case 2, it will execute that logic. With the help of break keyword, we will come out of the program, and that's it. In case in expression we have mentioned the value which is not coming in any particular condition, so in that case default will be executed. So let's say in default, every value which is apart from these conditions, that will come under the default. So let's quickly go to Eclipse and see how it works. I have created a program, so I'll explain you that program, and after that we will run that program too. So this is a simple program where we are trying to find out either that particular character is vowel or not. So first of all, what we did is we have a character that is W we have mentioned here, and in switch statement we have added this expression which I told you earlier, that in switch statement this is a mandatory thing which you need to mention switch, and this particular thing we can say that this is expression. So from this switch keyword, the control will understand that it's a switch statement. The basic syntax is like, with the help of case we can mention. First case is a. If condition is if the value is a, then we want to print this particular thing. If it's e, I or u, in all the vowel condition it will print vowel. If all these conditions are not coming, then it will say consonant entered, and it will also print what consonant will you have mentioned here. So let's execute it one by one. If value is a, so in this case it will print this value. It's a vowel, or we can print a something like that. Now we will execute it. It should print this value, a is vowel, because this condition is getting true. And after this condition is getting true, we have break statement. So the control will come out from here. All these lines will not get executed. The compiler will not go there. So let's execute it and see. A is vowel. So this condition is getting executed. And with the help of break, the control is not checking, not even going to the next case. Similar way, if we add anything which is like this O, so in this O we will enter this O is vowel. So in this case O is vowel should be printed out in our see. In this case what is happening, control first of all came here, it see value is A, so but value is not matching with our expression, so it will go to the next statement. It's check E is also not matching, I is also not matching, but in case of O it's matching. That's why it's printing this value, O is vowel. And once it is printing this O is vowel, as we have instructed it to break out of this particular flow, so the control will break. With the help of break keyword, it will come out of the program, and that's it. These two conditions, this last one and default, will never get executed in this case. So with the help of break, we can minimize our efforts, and whenever the condition is getting true, we can come out of the program. But this break and this default is not mandatory. You can execute this program without default also. Default is just for the sake of information that if no condition is getting passed from the above mentioned scenarios, then by default this will get executed. So if you comment this, then also it will work. So in switch statement, it's not mandatory to use default, and even it's not mandatory to use break also. So our condition, this O is getting executed. If I remove this break, so what will happen here, as all these three conditions are not getting true, so the control will come here for O is vowel, and here we don't have break, so control will not get break. It will go ahead and it will print this one also. So that will not solve our purpose. That's why we use break statement. Else it will go to every condition and execute all the things. See, O is vowel, U is vowel. So in this scenario, we will get confused what value we have entered. Although we have entered only O, but it's also getting printing the value U is vowel, because it is going to the next control also. So in order to avoid that thing, we use break. So break is not mandatory, but for our convenience and to avoid the unnecessary compilation, we use break. And for default, the same case is for default also, because we never know, in some of the scenarios we never know, these values are random. These values are random. If we are getting this value, when we cover Selenium tutorials, we will come across some scenarios where we are getting the values from somewhere, So in that case, this is a hard coded value. O is hard coded, but let's say we are getting this value from somewhere else, from some list or from some other program. We are getting this value, so we are not sure either these values or these values dynamic in nature. So in that case, we are not sure either these conditions are getting true or not. So in that case, we use default so that we can understand, or we can print a understandable message for the compilation, and in order to do the debugging. It's good for us so that we can easily find out what is happening. That's why we use default. If no condition is getting passed, then this condition will get sorry, this default will get executed. Whatever you have mentioned inside default, it will get executed. So I will show you. Let's say we use t here. T is not a vowel, so in this case control will go to a, as I mentioned here. Control will go here. It see non-matched, so come to second condition. Still non-matched, come to third condition, and in this way it will come to default. So here default is consonant entities. We are printing the value which we are entering here. So let's see. See, consonant entered is 8. So in this way we can use switch statement. The basic idea behind switch statement is to use when we have multiple conditions. Here we have more than 3 to 4 more than 4 statements. So we can also use the logic of if else conditions, but it will create unnecessarily complexity and lot of code we have to return down. So we use switch statement instead of using if else. If else is preferable where you have only 1 to 2 statement. Else you can use this switch statement. It's very convenient and it's very easy to use. The basic syntax is like you have to mention the expression switch, and in the form of case we mention multiple conditions, and default where no condition is getting true, we use default. As I mentioned earlier, default and break, these are not mandatory thing. These are absolutely option. You can use switch without it, but it's for inconvenience. If we don't use break, the control will execute the next statement also, and it will halt the purpose. It will not solve our purpose. So that's why we use break. And similarly, in order to debug the things, in order to see if none of the condition is getting true, what message you want to show to the uh, program, or what message you want to print in your reports, that message you want to enter here so that it will be gracefully exit from the program. So in this way we can use switch statement. If you have any doubt or any question, do let me know by mentioning in comment section. Hope you like the video. If you like the video, do like, share, subscribe with your friend, and do mention any topic which you want to discuss with me. I'll create a video for that. Thank you so much. Thanks. You will have a good day.